Thank you. Speaker, if Tip O'Neill once said that all politics is local, then Mike Dietsch lived it. He and his wife Gail were still busy raising their 6 kids, Pat, Linda, Jody, Mike, Paul, and Matthew, when he decided to run for provincial office as MPP for the riding of St. Catharines Brock in 1987. Mike successfully ran for the Liberals as part of a Peterson government sweep. But when Mike told Gail that he wanted to run for the nomination provincially, Gail was terrified. Gail was an Army brat. She and Mike actually met when her dad, Chief Warrant Officer William Bowman, ran the Army camp in Niagara Lake, and Mike worked there. She says her dad wasn't too happy with the crowd she ran around with in Hamilton. Those from Niagara can understand that about Hamilton. So he liked Mike. So they had been raising 6 kids. She loved living in the country. Mike was an automotive worker and a farmer. They loved being at home with the family. So Gail wondered a lot that being here in Queen's Park in the legislature and being in Toronto, was that going to change them and change their family? And even friends and neighbours wondered how, if Mike were elected, the Dietsch family might no longer be the ordinary folks that they loved spending time with. But when Mike Dietsch made up his mind, he stuck to it. And Gail fully supported him. And knowing Mike, those of us that did, and I knew him from his municipal politics, knew full well that nothing would change. Mike always said, I am who I am, and assured Gail they'd always stay grounded. So grounded, in fact, that Gail kept her job in Niagara Lake driving school bus. When Mike was off at Queen's Park, she loved working with the kids. And friends and neighbours would ask incredulously, now with Mike elected, you're not still driving bus, are you? She said, of course I am. I love it. We're part of the community. And local pays off. So the nomination in 1987, people saw the writing on the wall. The Liberals were on the move. And it was a big contest, five contestants in the nomination, a lot of big names. And truth be told, folks thought Mike would be lucky to come in 4th in that race. But he actually went door to door during the nomination, Speaker, met with the members, he built the team. He divvied up the lists of memberships between husband and wife pairs and had them go door to door as well, knocking together on his behalf. And because of his local reputation and dedication, and because of his approach and hard work, he actually came first on the first ballot and stayed first all the way through to win that nomination. So he defied the odds through good old-fashioned hard work and a smart game plan. And he applied the same smarts and work ethic in the general election, visiting 19,000 homes during that campaign. He was feeling confident on election night with good reason. He actually beat a former MPP and future regional chair Peter Partington. That was no easy contest. So no surprise, when Mike arrived here in 1987, he fully threw himself into the work. But he never forgot about the folks back home. And he brought forward 3 private members' bills that made a huge difference. Actually, not only brought them forward, but had each of them passed, Speaker, and all to do with the grape and wine industry. And any of us from Niagara, Prince Edward County, Lake Erie, North Shore, across the province know the importance of that industry. His 3 bills resulted in the allowance of credit card sales at wineries, Sunday openings at wineries, and an irrigation bill to allow farmers to use irrigation ditches to water their crops. So, way ahead of his time. Back in the early 1990s, late 1980s, there's a small number of wineries. And he helped to build a successful sector that adds millions and millions of dollars to our economy each and every year. Ironically, I found out, though, Speaker, once he arrived in 1987, Mike stopped drinking altogether, not even wine. He felt he should focus fully on his work. Even at home, Christmas dinners, out for dinner with the family, wanted to focus on his job. But even though Mike didn't have any wine, whenever he went out for dinner with Gail or the family or anybody else, he demanded to see the wine lists. And he'd call the sommelier over, the head waiter, and if there wasn't an Ontario wine on that list, they heard about it, Speaker. And then come Monday morning, he'd follow up with a letter back to the restaurant and all of the wineries. There were only 7 back then in Niagara Lake. He called them the group of 7 and told them that this would be an outstanding establishment to show off their product. So no wonder he earned himself the nickname the Whiner around here at Queen's Park. No H, of course. And as much as Mike felt it was his duty to give back to his community, his leadership was very well respected by all the work he did and those he worked with, his constituents, but never at the expense of his family. He always had time for his kids, despite the demanding schedule and the travel back and forth to Toronto. And when 3 of the kids played lacrosse one summer, Mike and Gail just packed up the whole family and spent their summer holidays camping at the lacrosse tournaments across our province, ensuring the whole family spent quality time together despite the hectic schedule. One year they took all 8 family members in a crew cab truck and drove across Canada. 7 weeks of that, packed in there with the kids. Gail said that was the only other time in her life she was terrified with one of Mike's decisions. He valued family ahead of everything else, and I'm sure his wife Gail, 52 years, his 6 kids, and his 17 great-grandchildren deeply feel his absence today, but no doubt his grandchildren enormously proud of what their grandpa stood for, what he accomplished for the folks back home, and that he never, ever lost sight of that old adage, dance with the one who brung you. In order to pay tribute, Speaker, to Mike Dietsch and all he accomplished for our province. Thank you.